The ring box sat in my jacket pocket like it weighed 50 pounds. I'd carried it around for 3 days straight, scared to leave it at home in case something happened to it. "You're doing the right thing," I said to myself, gripping the steering wheel outside Sarah's apartment building. 5 years. She's the one. I checked my watch. 6:15. I was 4 to 5 minutes early, but I couldn't sit still any longer. I grabbed the small bouquet of white tulips from the passenger seat, her favorite, and walked up to the building. I still had a key. She'd given it to me last year, laughing, saying, "What's mine is yours, Daniel." I let myself in quietly, hoping to surprise her while she got ready. Maybe I'd catch her in the kitchen making tea, and I'd get down on one knee right there before she even had her makeup on. That felt right somehow. Real. Unplanned. "Sarah." I called out, setting the flowers on the counter. No answer. Water running in the bathroom. Maybe. I walked toward the bedroom, smiling, already picturing her face. I opened the door, and my whole life ended in that doorway. Sarah was in bed. Not alone. Marcus, my best friend since sophomore year of college. The guy who'd been my roommate for 2 years. The guy who stood next to me at my father's funeral. The guy I called at 3 a.m. when I didn't know what else to do. That Marcus. For a second, my brain refused to process it. Like it was a mistake, like I was looking at the wrong apartment, the wrong people, the wrong life. Sarah screamed and grabbed the blanket. "Daniel! Oh my God, Daniel, wait." "What?" My voice came out broken, barely a whisper. "What is this?" Marcus scrambled off the bed, holding his hands up like that would fix anything. "Daniel, man, let me explain." "Explain," I said, louder now, my whole body shaking. "Explain what, Marcus? What is there to explain?" "It's not what it looks like," Sarah said, tears already running down her face. "Not what it looks like." I laughed, and it sounded insane even to me. "You're naked. In bed. With my best friend. What else could it possibly look like?" Nobody answered. The silence was its own confession. "How long?" I asked. Sarah looked at Marcus, then back at me. "Daniel." "How long?" I shouted, and she flinched. 8 months, she whispered. 8 months. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. 8 months of dinners together, movie nights, Sunday brunches where Marcus sat across from us laughing at my jokes. 8 months of me talking to him about wedding rings, about honeymoon destinations, about how scared I was that Sarah might say no. "You helped me pick the ring," I said to Marcus, my voice flat now, hollow. "You told me sapphires were too plain. You told me to get the classic diamond because she deserves something timeless." Marcus wouldn't look at me. "Daniel, I'm sorry." "Sorry." I pulled the ring box from my pocket and threw it on the floor between them. It bounced once and landed near Sarah's foot. "I was coming here to propose. Right now. Tonight." Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. "Daniel, please, we can talk about this." "Talk about what?" I said. "There's nothing to talk about. I just watched 5 years disappear in about 10 seconds. It just happened," Marcus said quietly. "I never meant for it to happen like this." "Like this?" I turned to him fully now, and something cold settled into my chest, replacing the shock. "So there was a good way for it to happen? A way where I don't find out my fiancée and my best friend have been lying to me for almost a year?" He didn't answer. "Say something," I said. "Anything. Give me one real reason." "I love her," Marcus said finally. "I didn't plan it, but I fell in love with her." "You fell in love with her," I repeated slowly, while sitting at my dinner table, while I was asking you for advice on how to make her happy. "Daniel, please," Sarah said, wrapping the sheet around herself and standing. "I never wanted to hurt you." "But you did," I said. "You hurt me in the worst way 2 people can hurt someone. You didn't just cheat. You destroyed everything I trusted." She reached for my arm. "Can we please just—" I stepped back before she could touch me. "Don't. Daniel." "Don't touch me," I said, and my voice cracked on the last word, the first real crack in the wall I was building around myself. "I came here with a ring. I came here to ask you to marry me, and instead I find out you've been sleeping with my best friend for 8 months." Neither of them spoke. What was there left to say? I looked at the ring box on the floor, and for a second I thought about picking it up. Then I decided I didn't want to touch anything in that room ever again. I hope it was worth it, I said quietly. Both of you. I turned and walked out. I heard Sarah calling my name behind me. Heard Marcus say something too, but the words didn't register anymore. My legs carried me down the hallway, down the stairs, out the front door, into the cold night air. I got into my car and sat there, hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead at nothing. The tulips were still on her kitchen counter. I'd forgotten them completely. My phone buzzed. Sarah's name flashed on the screen. I turned it face down on the passenger seat without looking. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes. Maybe an hour. The streetlights blurred through the windshield, and I realized I was crying, though I couldn't remember when it started. I reached into my jacket pocket out of habit, expecting to feel the ring box, before remembering I'd left it on her bedroom floor. 5 years. Gone in 10 seconds. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white, and for the first time in my life, I had absolutely no idea what came next. For 11 days, I didn't answer my phone. I went to work, came home, and sat in the dark. That was my whole life. I stopped returning texts. I stopped eating properly. I stopped being anyone at all. Then Grace showed up. I heard her banging on my door before I heard her voice. Daniel, open up. I know you're in there. Your car's downstairs. I didn't move from the couch. She had a spare key. I'd forgotten I gave her one, and a minute later she let herself in. Oh, Daniel, she said, stopping in the doorway, looking at the mess around me. This is worse than I thought. I'm fine, Grace. You're not fine. Look at this place. Look at you. She crossed her arms. You haven't answered Mom in a week. You haven't answered me. What happened? Nothing happened. Don't lie to me. Her voice softened, but only slightly. I talked to Sarah's cousin. I know something's wrong. Just tell me. I stared at the blank TV screen. Sarah and Marcus. Grace blinked. Marcus? You're Marcus. 8 months, I said flatly. I walked in on them the night I was going to propose. Grace sat down hard on the arm of the couch like her legs had given out. Oh my God, Daniel. Yeah. I'm going to kill them. Both of them. Don't, I said. It doesn't matter now. It matters, she snapped. You don't get to sit here and rot because 2 people who don't deserve you decided to be garbage human beings. I'm not rotting. You are, she said. You haven't showered in what, 3 days? 4. You haven't called Mom back. You're scaring me. I didn't answer. What was there to say? Talk to me, Grace said, quieter now. Please. You don't have to pretend with me. I don't know what to say, I admitted. I feel stupid. I feel like everyone's going to look at me and think, poor Daniel couldn't even keep his girlfriend from cheating with his own best friend. Nobody thinks that. I think that. Grace grabbed my hand. You didn't do anything wrong. You loved someone. That's not a crime. It feels like one. Come have dinner with Mom this weekend, she said. Please. She's worried sick. I can't face her right now. She's not going to judge you, Daniel. She's your mother. I didn't answer, but I didn't say no either. Mrs. Reyes called that night. I almost didn't pick up, but something made me answer. Mijo, she said softly. Grace told me. I closed my eyes. Mom, I don't want to talk about it. You don't have to talk. I just want you to listen for 1 minute. I stayed quiet. Pain doesn't mean you're weak, she said. It means you loved something real. There's no shame in that. I feel like an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're hurting. Those aren't the same thing. I felt my throat tighten. I don't know how to just move on. Everyone keeps saying that. Move on. Like it's a light switch. It's not a switch, she said. It's a road. Long and ugly sometimes. But you don't walk it alone, Daniel. You have me. You have Grace. I know. Come see me Sunday, she said. Just Sunday. That's all I ask. Okay, I said. Sunday. At work, things weren't much better. I missed 2 deadlines that week. My designs were sloppy, half-finished, nothing like the work I used to be proud of. Richard called me into his office on Thursday. Daniel, sit down, he said, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. If this is about the Quintero project, it's about you, Richard said. You've missed 2 deadlines. You look like you haven't slept in a week. What's going on? Personal stuff, I said. It won't happen again. I've known you 3 years, Daniel. You've never missed a deadline. Not once. He leaned forward. I'm not trying to bust your chops here. I'm asking as someone who's watched you work hard for this company. Are you okay? Not really, I admitted, surprising myself. You want to talk about it? Not particularly. Fair enough. He nodded. Take Friday off. Get your head straight. But Monday, I need the old Daniel back. Deal. Deal, I said, grateful he didn't push further. Tom caught me in the break room afterward, refilling my coffee for the 3rd time that morning. You look like hell, he said, not unkindly. Thanks, Tom. I'm serious. What happened? Sarah cheated on me. With Marcus. Tom's eyebrows shot up. Marcus? The best man at your wedding, Marcus. There isn't going to be a wedding. Damn. He whistled low. That's cold, man. That's ice cold. Yeah. You know what I'd do? Tom said, leaning against the counter. I'd let them destroy themselves. People like that always do. You don't need to lift a finger. I don't want revenge, Tom. I just want to stop feeling like this. That takes time, he said, surprisingly gentle for a guy who usually joked about everything. But for what it's worth, you're better off. Anybody who does that to you isn't worth the tears. Doesn't feel that way right now. It never does, Tom said. But it will. Trust me. I nodded, not fully believing him, but grateful someone had said it out loud. That night, sitting alone in my apartment again, I thought about what Tom said, about what my mother said, about the long road ahead of me. I didn't know how to walk it yet, but for the first time in 11 days, I thought maybe I could. You need to talk to someone, Grace said, dropping a business card on my kitchen table. A real someone. Not me, not Mom. A therapist. I'm handling it, I said. You're surviving it, she corrected. That's different from handling it. I picked up the card. Dr. Whitfield, licensed therapist. I don't know, Grace. Just 1 session, she said. If you hate it, don't go back. But you owe yourself 1 try. I called that afternoon before I could talk myself out of it. So tell me what brought you here, Dr. Whitfield said during our first session, her office quiet except for the soft hum of a fan in the corner. My fiancée cheated on me. With my best friend. That's a significant loss, she said. Not just a partner, but a friendship too. I keep waiting to feel angry, I admitted. Or sad. Or something that makes sense. Instead I just feel empty. Empty makes sense too, she said. You don't have to force a feeling to fit a timeline. What do you want moving forward? I thought about it. I don't want revenge. I thought I would. But mostly I just want to feel like myself again. Then let's work on that, she said. Not on them. On you. That sentence stuck with me for weeks. I blocked Sarah's number. Then Marcus's. I didn't need explanations anymore. I needed distance. Grace mentioned once that Sarah tried reaching out through mutual friends, but I asked her not to pass along anything. I don't want updates, I told her. Good or bad. I just want to move forward. At work, I threw myself into a new project, a rebrand for a client called Solvex, one of Richard's biggest accounts. It gave me something to focus on besides the wreckage of my personal life. This is good work, Daniel, Richard said, reviewing my mock-ups. Really good. Glad to have you back. Feels good to be back, I said, and meant it. 3 weeks later, Richard sent me on a work trip to Denver to meet with the Solvex team in person. I checked into my hotel Thursday night, exhausted, and headed down to the small cafe attached to the lobby for coffee before my meeting. That's where I met Elena. She was juggling a laptop bag, a coffee, and a phone pressed between her shoulder and ear, arguing gently with someone about a school pickup time. I know, I'll be there by 4, I promise, she bumped into me, and her coffee tipped, splashing onto my sleeve. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, she said, hanging up the phone immediately. "Here, let me." She grabbed napkins off the counter and started dabbing at my jacket before seeming to realize what she was doing. "Sorry, that's weird. I don't know why I just did that." I laughed, genuinely, for what felt like the first time in months. "It's fine. Really. I'm usually more coordinated than this," she said, cheeks flushed. "I'm Elena, by the way." Daniel. Daniel. Right. Sorry again about your jacket. Honestly, it's just coffee. I've had worse days. The words slipped out before I could stop them. "That sounds like there's a story there," she said. "There's always a story," I said. "You seem like you're having a rough morning too." "My son's school called. Field trip permission slip I forgot to sign. My babysitter had to leave early. My presentation's in 20 minutes. She laughed, but it sounded tired. Single mom life. Never a dull moment. Sounds exhausting. "It is," she admitted. "But he's worth it. Ben. He's 6. Her face softened just saying his name. "I don't have kids," I said. "Can't imagine juggling all that." "You learn," she said. "Or you fall apart trying. Some days it's both." "I get that," I said, thinking of my own past month. Falling apart while still functioning. That's basically been my life lately. "Yeah." She tilted her head. "What happened?" "Long story. Bad breakup. Worse friendship. Those are the ones that stick, heh." "Yeah," I said. "They really do." She checked her watch and winced. "I have to run. But it was nice meeting you, Daniel. Sorry again about the coffee." "It was nice meeting you too, Elena." She hurried off, and I stood there for a moment, coffee-stained sleeve and all, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks, lightness. That night, Grace called with news. "You're not going to believe this," she said. "Sarah and Marcus are apparently falling apart." "I told you I don't want updates." "I know, but this is different. Apparently Marcus thinks Sarah's been talking to some other guy from her office. He's accusing her of the exact thing she did to you." I sat with that for a second. Karma works fast. "Are you happy about it?" "Honestly," I said, "I don't feel much of anything. I'm just focused on other things now." "Like what?" I thought of Elena's laugh, the coffee stain on my sleeve, the strange comfort of talking to a stranger who wasn't performing for me. "Just moving forward," I said. "That's all." Sarah texted me on a Tuesday. I almost didn't open it. "Can we talk? Please. Just once." I stared at the message for a long time before agreeing to meet her at a coffee shop, somewhere public, somewhere neutral. She looked different when I saw her. Thinner, tired, dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't quite hide. "Thank you for coming," she said, sitting across from me. "You said it was important." "I need you to forgive me," she said, and her voice cracked immediately. "I can't sleep. I can't function. I keep replaying that night over and over." "Sarah." "I know I don't deserve it," she rushed on, "but I need to hear you say it. I need to know you don't hate me." I studied her face. She wasn't asking if I was okay. She wasn't asking how I'd been these past months. She wanted absolution, and she wanted it from me, right now, on her timeline. "I don't hate you," I said slowly, "but I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's fine, because it's not. I just need peace," she said. "I need to move forward." "So do I," I said, "but that's not something I owe you help with." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "That's not fair." "None of this has been fair, Sarah. Not to me." I stood up. "I hope you find your peace, but I can't be the one who gives it to you." I left her sitting there, and for the first time, walking away didn't feel like running. It felt like choosing myself. A week later, Aunt Carla called me. I hadn't spoken to her since the engagement dinner, back when things still made sense. "Daniel, honey, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice heavy. "It's about Sarah." "Carla, I really don't think." "Please, just listen." She took a breath. "This isn't the first time. 2 years ago, before you two got serious, she was seeing someone else while dating a boy named Peter. I only found out because I caught her. She swore me to secrecy." I sat down slowly. "Why are you telling me this now?" Because you deserve to know it wasn't about you, Carla said. It was never about you not being enough. It's a pattern. I should have warned you sooner. I'm sorry I didn't. Something loosened in my chest, something I didn't know was still tight. Thank you for telling me. Are you okay? Yeah, I said, and meant it more than I expected to. Actually, I think I finally am. Grace called 2 days later with more updates I hadn't asked for but couldn't help absorbing. Marcus is losing it, she said. Apparently he checks Sarah's phone constantly. Shows up at her work unannounced. Full meltdown mode. Sounds familiar, I said. Right? He did to her exactly what she did to you, and now he's terrified she'll do it to him. Poetic, I said quietly. Are you going to say anything to them? Gloat a little? No, I said. I don't need to. They're doing it to themselves. I meant that. Somewhere between therapy and Denver coffee stains, I'd stopped needing them to suffer to feel whole again. Elena called that Friday. Ben wants to meet you, she said. Officially. He's been asking about the coffee guy for weeks. The coffee guy? That's you. He thinks it's hilarious that I spilled coffee on a stranger. I'd love to meet him, I said, surprised by how much I meant it. We met at a small park near her apartment. Ben ran up before Elena could even introduce us, a small tornado of energy in light-up sneakers. Are you the coffee guy? He asked, squinting up at me. That's me, I said. Guilty as charged. Mom said she ruined your jacket. She did, but I forgave her. Ben grinned like that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Can you push me on the swing? Ben, you don't have to, Elena started. I don't mind, I said, already following him toward the swings. Elena watched us with an expression I couldn't quite read, something between relief and hope. He likes you, she said quietly as Ben climbed onto the swing. I like him too, I said. I like both of you. She smiled, and for the first time in a long time, I let myself believe something good might actually be starting instead of ending. I don't get fractions, Ben groaned, dropping his pencil on the kitchen table. Why do numbers need to be broken? They're not broken, I said, sitting beside him. They're just sharing. Look, if you have a pizza and split it with 3 friends, how much does each person get? A fourth. Exactly. That's a fraction. 1 out of 4 pieces. Oh. He picked the pencil back up, actually trying now. So math is just pizza math. Basically, I said, laughing. Most of life is just pizza math if you think about it right. Elena walked in from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel, smiling at us. Is he actually doing his homework? Miracles happen, I said. You're a good teacher, she said. Patient. Ben usually throws his pencil across the room by now. I only did that once, Ben protested. Twice, Elena said. But who's counting? I'd been coming over 3 or 4 times a week for the past month. Nothing dramatic, nothing planned, just dinner, homework, small conversations that built on each other night after night. Dinner's almost ready, Elena said. Daniel, can you check the rice? On it. I got up and stirred the pot on the stove, comfortable in her kitchen in a way that surprised me. You know, I used to think love had to be this big, dramatic thing. Grand gestures, perfect proposals. And now, she asked, chopping vegetables beside me. Now I think it's this, I said. Checking rice. Fraction homework. Nothing fancy. She looked at me, something warm in her eyes. That's the realest thing anyone said to me in years. Gross, Ben called from the table. Are you guys being mushy again? Eat your fractions, Elena called back, and we both laughed. Grace called while I was driving home that night. Sit down, she said. Actually, don't, you're driving. Just brace yourself. What happened? Sarah and Marcus broke up. Publicly. Like, screaming matinee restaurant publicly. Half of Instagram saw it. What happened? Marcus found texts on her phone. Turns out she'd been messaging some guy from her office for months. He confronted her in the middle of dinner, everyone filming it, the whole thing. I sat with that for a moment, waiting to feel something, triumph, satisfaction, anything sharp and clean. Instead, I just felt tired, and a little sad, the way you feel watching 2 people repeat a mistake they never learned from. Are you okay? Grace asked. You're quiet. I'm fine, I said. Honestly, I just feel sorry for both of them now. Sorry? After everything they did to you? They're stuck, I said. In the same cycle, just switched around. That's not something to celebrate. It's just sad. You've changed, Grace said quietly. In a good way. I've had good people around me, I said, thinking of Elena stirring vegetables, Ben's stubborn pencil, Dr. Whitfield's steady questions. That helps. 2 weeks later, I brought Elena and Ben to Sunday dinner at my mother's house. Mom, this is Elena, I said at the door. And this is Ben. Mrs. Reyes's face lit up instantly. Oh, look at you, she said, crouching to Ben's level. Are you hungry? I made way too much food. I'm always hungry, Ben said seriously, and my mother laughed like he'd told the world's best joke. I like him already, she said, standing back up and taking Elena's hands. And you? Daniel talks about you constantly. Mom, I said, feeling my face heat up. It's true, Elena said, smiling. Grace warned me you'd say something embarrassing. Speaking of Grace, my mother said, she's in the kitchen pretending she's not eavesdropping. I heard that. Grace called out, appearing in the doorway. Elena, hi, I'm the sister who threatens people who hurt my brother, just so you know where we stand. Noted, Elena said, laughing. She's kidding, I said. I'm not, Grace said. Dinner was loud and warm. Ben asking 100 questions about everything. My mother refilling plates before anyone asked. Grace teasing me relentlessly while Elena laughed along like she'd always belonged there. Your family's amazing, Elena said quietly as we cleared plates together later. They're like you, I said. Both of you. Ben hasn't stopped talking about your mom's cooking. She'll take that as a personal victory. We stood there for a moment, dish towels in hand, comfortable silence between us. Thank you, Elena said, for bringing us into this, into your world. Thank you for letting me into yours, I said. I didn't know I needed this, any of this, until I had it. She leaned her head against my shoulder, just for a second, and I felt something settle in my chest that had been unsettled since that night in Sarah's apartment. Not because Sarah and Marcus had fallen apart, because I had finally built something that felt real. Sarah texted me one last time in October, almost a year after that night in her apartment. I know I don't deserve your time, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not asking for anything. Just needed you to know. I read it twice, waiting to feel the old ache. It didn't come. Thank you for saying that. I wrote back. I forgive you. I hope you find peace, Sarah. I mean that. That's more than I deserve, she replied. Maybe, I typed. But holding on to anger doesn't help either of us anymore. Take care of yourself. I put my phone down and realized I felt nothing but calm. No anger, no bitterness, no need to relive any of it. Just quiet closure. Finally, after all these months. You're staring off into space again, Elena said, nudging my shoulder as we sat on her couch that evening, Ben asleep upstairs. What's going on in that head of yours? Sarah texted me, I said. Apologized. For real this time. How do you feel? Fine, I said, and meant it. Actually fine. Like it's finally, completely closed. That's growth, she said, smiling. A year ago you couldn't even hear her name without flinching. A year ago I didn't have this, I said, gesturing around the living room, at the crayon drawings taped to the fridge, at the shoes by the door that weren't mine but felt like they belonged there anyway. I didn't have you. Or Ben. We're lucky too, you know, she said. You didn't have to stay. You didn't have to choose a ready-made family with all our chaos. I didn't choose the chaos, I said. I chose you. Ben came with the package, and honestly, best part of the deal. She laughed, leaning into me. Smooth. I've been practicing. I proposed on a Tuesday. Not some elaborate, planned-out spectacle with rehearsed lines and hidden ring boxes waiting to be discovered by the wrong person at the wrong time. Just an ordinary Tuesday. Dishes in the sink, Ben's homework spread across the table, the smell of dinner still in the air. Can you check if the rice is done? Elena asked, her back to me at the stove. In a second, I said. Actually, Can you turn around first? She turned, wiping her hands on a towel, confused. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, I said, my heart pounding harder than I expected for something so simple. I just wanted to ask you something. I pulled the ring from my pocket. No velvet box this time, just the ring itself, simple and honest, exactly like everything we'd built together. Elena, I'm not going to give some big speech, I said. You've seen me at my worst. You've seen me rebuild myself piece by piece. And somehow, through all of it, you and Ben became the reason I look forward to every single day. I don't want grand gestures. I just want this. Dinner, homework, checking the rice, doing it with you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me? Her hand flew to her mouth, eyes filling with tears. Yes, she said. Yes, of course, yes. I slid the ring onto her finger, and she pulled me into a hug so tight I could barely breathe, laughing and crying at the same time. That's when I heard footsteps on the stairs. What's going on? Ben asked, rubbing his eyes, standing in the doorway in his pajamas. Why is Mom crying? Happy crying, Elena said, holding up her hand. Daniel asked me to marry him. Ben's eyes went wide. He looked at the ring, then at me, then back at his mother. So he's gonna live here? Forever? If that's okay with you, I said, crouching down to his level. Ben studied me for a second, the same serious way he'd studied fractions weeks earlier, like he was doing important math in his head. Yeah, he said finally. That's okay with me. Then he threw his arms around my neck. Can I call you Dad now? My throat tightened so fast I could barely answer. Yeah, buddy, I said, voice cracking. You can call me Dad. Okay, Dad, he said, testing the word like he was trying on a new jacket, seeing how it fit. Can we still do fraction homework tomorrow? I laughed, wiping my eyes before he could notice. Every day, if you want. That night, after Ben went back to bed and Elena fell asleep against my shoulder, I sat at the kitchen table with an old journal I hadn't touched in months. I picked up my pen and wrote. A year ago, I thought my life ended in a doorway. I thought betrayal was the final chapter, not just a broken page in a much longer story. I was wrong. Love isn't about winning some battle against the people who hurt you. It's not about revenge or proving them wrong or waiting for karma to even the score. It's about choosing the right person, the right people, to build a life with, brick by brick, dinner by dinner, ordinary Tuesday by ordinary Tuesday. I didn't find that with grand gestures or perfect proposals. I found it in fraction homework, in coffee stains, in a 6-year-old boy calling me Dad for the first time. That's the story I get to keep writing now. Our story. I closed the journal, looked over at Elena sleeping peacefully beside me, and felt something I hadn't felt in longer than I could remember. Whole.